I don't know if you felt this way, but there are times in which you're stuck, not because you're not eager to do the work or to take the next step. It's the lack of clarity needed. But the reason why many of us do not go forward in the direction that we need to go, or take the leap of faith that we know we need to take, or fulfill that calling that God has placed in our hearts to call, is because of our limited belief of ourselves. Because if God could tell you that you would be successful, give you the timeline on the successes, and ultimately the fulfillment of what you always envisioned, then it removes faith. It removes trusting Him in His word when the belief that you have about yourself has carried you to this point, and now there's an impossible task that's in front of you, and you know that you can't do it on your own strength, that you need God. And I noticed this pattern all throughout scriptures. I gravitate to the story of David and Joseph and Moses, and all of these men in scripture highlight places in my life that I need wisdom and understanding. And for me, in this season in my life, God is calling me into leadership. What that looks like, it's unclear, but because I've always felt that I wasn't inadequate enough, is why, like Moses, I see what you have placed in my heart to fulfill. I see that you want me to call your people out of Egypt. He had experience, but for 40 years, he had to unlearn everything that he learned in his early 20s. So at the end of the day, Moses sees this big calling. Moses sees this, and he makes an excuse. Well, who am I? And God at that moment, sorry, the reason why I pause is because the gentleman that's walking over there, he just crept up on me, and you always gotta be aware of your surroundings, and I'll leave it at that. But anyway, Moses says the following. He says, who am I? And God never affirms Moses. He just simply tells him, I'm going to be with you, right? Who am I? I am God, who will be with you. God then tells him what's going to transpire, exactly to the T. And Moses is like, yeah, I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Well, what am I supposed to use? He says, what's in your hand? And the reason why that's so significant, because I spent $800 on this vlog camera, and I promised myself that I was going to do all of this content. And at the end of the day, the reason why I feel stuck is because I feel inadequate because of this new chapter vision that God has placed. And if I'm being honest, nobody in my circle, no one in my family has gotten to this level of success. It goes back to my original point that I run in the same circles, but I don't sit in the tables of these people. There have been moments all throughout my life that for whatever reason, even in my inadequacy, okay, even in my insecurities and my doubts, I have experienced a life that many wish they can dream of. Do I have the house on the hills? No. But living a life knowing my purpose, knowing the experiences that I had, the pain points that so often I mask by doing work that was not aligned with what God has called me to do, because my value was connected to what I did for others, right? And so for the first time in this season of my life, I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for me. Not for me in a selfish way, but I need to stop depending on systems, on people, and bet on myself. Not because I feel that I'm confident, but because God simply said what's in my hands. And I have this vlog, I have a testimony, I have a message that was full of mess. I had tests that have become testimonies, and pain that has been unpacked into purpose. Who am I? I am Loami Richardson, And I help purpose-driven people to understand their story with clarity, understanding their pain points, their gifts, because deep down, you have this gift. You have this talent. You see the success, but you're stuck and you don't know how to get to the other side. This is why God says, I'm going to be with you. There's nothing more that I need to tell you about yourself, because the calling in of itself is what God has already placed in your heart to do. So, do you understand your story enough to unpack the pain points in your life, to discover the purpose, the thing that you have been created for? And can you take your past lessons or your past losses and turn them into lessons that, as you step forward to see this vision and this dream that God has placed on your heart to fulfill, he just simply asks, use what's in your hand. Use what's in your hand. I'm using this camera to share that message. And I realized that for me, the reason why I was able to come on this other side, the reason why I was able to have these breakthroughs, to be able to live a life that is meaningful and purposeful, to travel the world to share my message, to get paid to share my message, to be able to publish 2 books, where in high school I was considered illiterate because I failed the standardized testing of the state in high school. I got kicked out of high school with a 0.68 GPA, but now not only am I a speaker, but I'm a 2-time published author. I just finished my master's degree in urban ministry, even in urban ministry and community development, through an HBCU, the only person in my family and in my inner circle who has done that. Why do I say that? We devalue the resistance, that thing that meant to hold us back. We utilize it to push forward, right? And we saw breakthroughs from somebody who experienced heartbreak. I know what it means to go scrolling through TikTok and social media on hours on end because you're heartbroken. The person that told you that they will love you for all their life, you realize that the love that was there has been tainted, and as a result, you're broken, you're hurt, and so you scroll. But what if those lessons of that heartbreak will allow you to unpack the places that you have not cared for yourself? The Bible teaches, love your neighbor as I love myself. The reason why I'm able to love my fiance, and she can tell you, I am an honest and real. I am not perfect. She corrects me in the areas that I know I need correcting. But even in my rebukes, even in my sternness, she knows that my heart is with her, and I love her because there's pain points that she has not experienced, or when she has experienced, her tendency is to run away. It's to sabotage the good. Because I had community, I learned what not to do in that situation to break it. And I have seen growth in our relationship. The friction that's there is causing us to grow more, to understand each other more, and more importantly, to love more deeply. And as a result, there's levels of me being afraid. I'm scared to death of showing these vulnerable parts that only God knows, right? But as I work through that, as we're aligning our purposes together, we are now both on the same page to understand why God has brought her in my season of my life, and why I have been a part of her life in this season, right? So I say all this for this purpose. I'm going to start trying my best. I can't say start, but I will start posting more content, because it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. And that's what separates those who are behind and those who want to get ahead. So I guess pray for me in my journey. Just letting you know where I'm at in my life, in which I want to take God at his word. I want to act upon his word. And I want to challenge you. Study the book of Deuteronomy, chapters 1-7. Unpack the messaging that's there. And then read chapter 8 And tell me how those parallels does not correspond with culture, does not correspond with the music, Hollywood, our spiritual lives, and even the church. Because being 40 years old, being a millennial, I have come to accept that I am an unk. All right, I'm unk. I accepted it. But what I've realized is that now this generation has not gone through the experiences that we've gone through. We have gone through everything imaginable the last 20 years, from Y2K to 9/11 to 2 economic collapses, housing crisis, you name it, we've experienced it, right? And this generation that's behind us have not gone through the experiences. They're actually benefiting for what we've worked, right, through from the start of the internet to now the age of AI. They are now reaping the benefits of AI, but we have been the ones contributing to the growth. And I don't think they appreciate the story, the struggle, the battle. Challenge you to read Deuteronomy chapter 1 through 7 and through 8. I think it will open up your eyes to really understand what God is trying to communicate and articulate during this time. But yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about my story, where I'm at, where I need to be, where God is calling me. And I'm just going to be more vulnerable. I'm going to be more honest. I'm going to be more transparent in my journey. And the reason why is because I think I need to be perfect, but I'm reminded it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about consistency. It's not about who I am, because the simple fact that God called me is enough. He promised that he will be with me. This is his word. You have 2 choices: act on it or doubt it. And the reason why we're not experiencing breakthroughs in our life is because we doubt that word because of our past. But we do not know and understand how to unpack the past in order for us to live in the moment and live a life with clarity, happiness, and purpose, and full of joy and meaning. You know, to those who have been brokenhearted, I've been there. And love found me, right? That's part of my story. Love found me in the areas where I needed it. When you have all of these tasks and you're doing something that no one in your family or no one in your circle has ever done, but you know that the thing at the end is going to be far better than what you're currently experiencing. I've been there. I've been there. That's why I hustled my way into writing a book to inspire others. And as a result, I monetize off of it. And I'm going to put you on some game. So because I'm a speaker, there's already a booking fee. Because I'm a published author, I could then now sell books at a discounted price and double my revenue just on one speaking gig. But the reason I'm able to do that is because I've already produced a product. The reason why I can do that is because I have mastered my gift of speaking. And so I need you to understand that the way that you monetize your gifts, your talent, is that you have to produce. That's biblical, right? You can't plant a seed. You have to toil the seed, plant it, water it. It grounds first, is rooted, then as it's rooted, it will then germinate and grow and to produce fruit for the blessing of others. So we have to do the work. And if you don't have somebody who has helped you get to that work, listen, I'm here. I'm here. You can go ahead and I'll drop my link to my Calendly. We can book a booking call. We can do that. You can go to my YouTube channel, follow me on IG, whatever it means. I always want to be here to help. I realize that community is so needed in this time and during this age. But going back to what I was saying, we have to understand who we are, not just because it is our calling to know ourselves, to love ourselves so we can know how to love our neighbors, but it's the reality that God wants to use our past experience to better move forward in faith and not allow those doubts and that voice that sometimes is in the back of our head that we're not good enough, we're not enough. You know what I'm saying? What if we fail? The mistakes. And God says you need to push forward. You just need to push forward. Not because I'm dependent on your strength. Come on now. Not because I'm dependent on your wisdom or your charisma, but I'm going to be with you. That's it. That's the promise. So let's move forward in that regard. So that's my video. I shared a lot, but maybe I could say this in closing, go ahead, like, subscribe, follow my YouTube channel. There's going to be some links to where if you feel like, hey, I'm ready to step into a community, I'm ready to really unpack my past story. And listen, the offer that I give my people is 6-week program. And in 6 weeks, you'll be able not only to identify your story, your purpose statement, but you'll have a clear 90-day plan, vision to what you know God has placed on your heart to fulfill. All right. So if that is something of interest, go ahead, book a booking call, a discovery call with me in the YouTube description. But if not, go ahead, follow me on IG, Loami Richardson. Listen, you're going to know more about me. You're going to know a little bit more about me as I progress in this journey. But this is the first step. If it made sense, great. If it didn't, I don't know what else to tell you. I just wanted to share things that has been on my heart, and hopefully you're blessed by it. Until the next time, peace.